Hello and welcome to Late Night Live with Kwaku and Stacey. Yes, 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 we are back. We're back with a vengeance. Welcome to the only late night show that promises to be truly late night. I am one of the co-hosts. I am Kwaku.
And I'm Stacey.
Yes, we are back. So, folks, how have you all been doing? It's a pandemic. I know it's been a bit of a crappy times, but hey, we are here to cheer you all up. Stacey, how have you been?
Good. Not really been doing much. Started watching a lot of Netflix, a lot of Amazon Prime, a lot of Disney Plus. Slept a lot.
So, standard lockdown, COVID, and all that jazz, all that stuff, yes. Well, folks, we are here to bring it back. We're going to bring it back to the old school. This is Late Night Live with Kwaku and Stacey. However, before we get into it, the last time we were on air, it was spring 2018. So it's always been 3 years since we've been on. So I thought we'll do a little update on what's been going on since we were last on air. So here we go, real quick. We gained a sponsorship, then we lost the sponsorship. We also broke the internet, and then we lost our air in the studio. Stacey became an auntie. Stacey is still addicted to Starbucks latte. I became an uncle again. I recently got a girlfriend. We've all changed. We've all moved on. It's all the things that has happened. So that's you up to speed now. So before we go into the motto of the Late Night Live with Kwaku and Stacey, we're going to bring in our guest. So it's been a while. I'm always scared about what we're going to do, but hey, we had to go back to the bare bones and bring this guy back. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first guest. It's Kyle.
Woo!
Glad to be here. It's good to bring it back to the bare bones.
Yes, you're back. You're back, and I feel so good about
It's
this.
been a while.
How have
It's
you
been
been,
a
Kyle?
long while. It's been a roller coaster 5 years since I've last appeared on any of your shows. But yeah, cannot wait for the next 2 hours of late night talk show with Kwaku and Stacey.
Yes, yes, you already know it. Folks, if you're watching on FTYT or on Facebook, make sure you comment in. Wherever you're watching, comment in. Your comments will appear out below, as long as it's appropriate, obviously, which I'm going to go into the motto of Late Night with Kwaku and Stacey. So, folks, get yourself pumped. Get a drink in you. Get some food. Whatever you like, it's going to be a bumpy one. Strap in, folks. So, folks, before we go into the show, I do need to say, Stacey, in the last shows, you were like my producer slash my solicitor to make sure, well, first of all, I didn't say anything that will land me in trouble. Inevitably, I would always say something that land me in trouble, then you would bail me out of jail. Now you are the co-host, so how do you feel in your new role like?
Well, I'm glad that all my hard work has finally led me to getting a promotion here.
Truth be told, you're always high up. This is just like a name change. I feel like you were always high up. So yeah, your name is now above the lights and stuff. So watch out, Battle Lads. We're gonna sell out.
And how do you feel about trying to get me out of trouble from Stacey?
It's your job now, Stacey.
What was
Um,
that?
well, you need to get him out of trouble. I'm not
Yes.
taking any responsibility for that now.
I'll try my best.
Oh my word, oh my word. Folks, remember, get your comments in, get your stories in. If you want to tell us a story as we're talking about today's topic, slide into one of our DMs, get your stories in. Remember, we're just going to go over the mottos now. The motto of the late night show is anonymous kissing and telling. So when you tell us your story, no names, keep your names out. All names, keep them out. And the second motto is we go straight in. We got a message in from Graham. Hey Kwaku, hey Stacey. And who let Kyle haggle his way into this? Kyle?
I guess because we've known, I've known Kwaku since 2019.
2009? I've known you since. You said 19.
2009. Yeah, 2009. You were wearing a green wig on St. Patrick's Day. That's where I
I'm
first
glad
met
you
you.
had the St. Patrick's Day because that made it appropriate somewhat.
Yeah, and I've known Stacey since 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we go a long way back.
It's been a long 9 years, hasn't it?
Been
Not
interesting.
long enough for Stacey.
Now, also, someday I need to introduce as well. So, in the background, we do actually have an evil producer who is currently controlling us now.
He's not
And
evil, he's benevolent. How dare you?
he's very evil. However, see in the late night show, we used to have our thing where we had an innuendo horn. Every time it was mainly me that said something, I would say something so innocent, and Kyle had the buttons to press an innuendo klaxon as I said something. He's not got control over it. Our evil producer now has control over it. And the evil producer has also ramped it up a little bit. So, evil producer, can you start playing the innuendo klaxons? That's that's number one.
These are very nice.
That's number two. Number three.
I'm not finished with you!
And number four.
Big title of your sex tape.
And finally, number five.
That's what she said.
Okay, so, folks,
Wow.
whenever we
I
say
can't wait.
something that's innuendo, our evil producer in the wings is going to be ready and waiting. So, folks, shall we go straight in?
Sounds like a plan.
Yes.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, so this month's topic, I should say, this month. Let's start off slow and steady. We're going straight in, but slow and steady. This month's topic. First of all, it has been a while. A lot's happened, mainly a pandemic. So I thought first topic should be love and lockdown. How's the relationships been going during lockdown? So want to kick off and talk about the laws and what, because it's, let's be honest, lockdown has seen a lot of phases. It's seen a lot of differences that's come through in the months, whether it was the original lockdown, whether it was what happened in summer, and then we got the phases. Now we're back in a lockdown, and then now we're being told when we're going to have some form of normality or whatever have you. So I thought I'd touch base on what has been the laws and stuff. An interesting thing I saw in Netherlands. So bless our friend. I'm not going to say his name because remember, anonymous kissing and telling. In May, Netherlands, you were allowed to nominate a sex buddy. Her already the evil producer starting. So,
That's amazing. Yeah.
Kyle, what were your thoughts on that? Like seeing in May, Netherlands, you were allowed to nominate a sex buddy.
Well, this is oddly not the first time I've heard about this because one of my friends, he's Dutch. He kind of said this, and I was like, "That's a bit weird," because it's like that could be just anyone. You could just kind of fake someone, like maybe been in British lockdown. You could just say, "Oh, it's this old woman, but it's my granny, so she can come live with me." I didn't know if that was a thing.
I mean,
Like not just for sex, but just be like to isolate with someone. You know, you could kind of bend those rules, but I didn't really.
So this was the thing, right? So in Netherlands, you had that where basically you could nominate a sex buddy. So the sex buddy didn't actually have to live with you, so you didn't even have to form an extended household. It was literally a case of nominate one person. Whereas in the UK at that time, the message was your sex buddy should be yourself. Read into that what you think. There you go. I mean, it is the safest form of sex unless you've watched. I watched an episode of Misfits yesterday with my girlfriend, and I don't know if have any of you seen Misfits?
No.
There's a particular scene where there's a guy, like basically they all have different powers, and there's a guy called Curtis who his power was he can change into becoming a woman.
Okay.
Unfortunate thing that happened was that he could control before he could control when he changed into a woman, but suddenly he couldn't control, and he later found out it's because his woman persona was actually pregnant. How she got pregnant was because he masturbated as a man and then used the same tissue and masturbated as a woman, and then basically,
The writers of that show do not know how sex works. Is how I would say.
no,
First of all, I would say that the safest form of sex is abstinence. So write that down for
yeah,
big JC in the sky. But yeah, I mean, like for me, I was in a pub on St. Patrick's Day last year, and there's like 4 of us in a group and like maybe 10 in the pub. And this was out when Britain were doing, oh, we'll absolutely keep pubs open. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things that went wrong.
Title your sex tape.
I think for me, like, because I was working in a call center at the time, I worked for a clothing company that shall remain nameless, but in the same office, there was also the Foreign Commonwealth office who was trying to get people back. And I seen the story of people flying back from China, from people who lived in China where the virus outbroke. And I was like, that seems weird that they're flying them back. I think it was like 20 to 30 Britons. It's like, that sounds like you're inducing the virus. But yeah, like it's been very different. Like I know Sweden handle it very differently, and then Australia and New Zealand completely shut down. And then I seen a story a few weeks ago where I think there was a concert or a sports, maybe AFL, where they had like 20,000 people there, but because it was only them, they don't really have it, or if they do have it, it's self-contained.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think everyone's handled it very differently. I think especially now, since late November, December, where there's new strains and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I actually did work for the NHS doing the campaign, so I kind of know how the coronavirus works. No, it's for the testing.
Oh, right on.
Center. Yeah, so a lot of it was kind of like, do I have symptoms? No, you can't get a test. And this was way back in like May, June last year, where a lot of people were kind of scared, or a lot of people, even now I'll see people in the street like, oh, this figure, I'm like, idiots. But yeah, it was kind of like the information that went around wasn't really global, because in Europe, like last summer, it was complete lockdown. Like Spain was complete lockdown. Italy had the highest death rate. And then Britain kind of just went all over the place. And then especially even now, like politics aside, like Britain's kind of like contained in a little bit, even though we're on an island. America's just they just kind of go about their day, and it's like, you know, those are the people that don't have health care, you know.
Exactly. It's been really trying times. Like I know a big thing from lockdown and stuff is not being able to do what you would normally do, your normality and stuff like that. And when everyone's talking about like mental health and stuff like that, I don't know, that could be an area where it's been a really devastating effect on a lot of people. So it's always been about finding that new thing that you could do to keep yourself occupied or whatever. I mean, I was, as you guys know, a semi-professional DJ. I'm now a semi-retired DJ. I'm still trying to find out what my role is and stuff like that. So I went from bookies to no bookies. So I had to find that void in the first lockdown. My thing was the PlayStation. I like the PlayStation. I met your friends for life for the PlayStation. Like I already knew them, but we just became more friendly because like we can play online and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been really good. It's been interesting. Like, how have you been finding lockdown for yourself, Stacey?
It's been difficult. Like I didn't realize how much I was outside until I couldn't be. You know, that way, like, and I was always with people, you know, that way, just like always with friends, things like that, or in work surrounded by people, and it feels weird to not be.
I know. Well, that's been lockdown. So, folks, with that, we would like you to comment in with your experiences, any questions or anything. Comment in and to have them appear along the prompter down there, and we'll try and pick them up as much as we can. We are now going to move on to another subject. See, before I was going to read out some chat up lines that I've seen that are COVID related, and as per usual, they're all crap. So I'm banning that idea completely. Now, I thought we'll talk about like dating and like how people have been dated during the COVID eras. I call it era. I don't know what you call it during COVID. How have you been dated and stuff like that? So
Okay.
I thought,
I would say just lockdown
yeah, dating
would
will
probably be the
lockdown.
best lockdown. Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to open it up with a story I got sent in. So remember, folks, if you're sending in a story, anonymous, keep the names out. So the first story I've got here, me and
Or
my ex.
Kwaku, you could just not say the names.
I know, but still, I don't want to know the names. I don't want to know. That's our anonymous. I don't even want to know the names, but I won't say the names. Definitely not. But keep them out. Now, first story. Me and my girlfriend decided to stop seeing each other. No, sorry, I should say. Well, me and my ex decided to stop seeing each other just before lockdown. We were close, so we were so close that we kept messaging each other over the lockdown.
I'm not finished with you!
Once things eased a little, we met and hooked up a few times. Then in July, she came to mine and told me she was seeing someone else. And then we proceeded to knock boots one last night. Talk about a good start to a new relationship. So, folks, this actually goes back to a show that we discussed on cheating. You remember when we did that show on cheating? We've
Yeah.
lost Kyle somehow briefly, so I'm going to continue talking and see if he comes back. But not a good start to your relationship, and the fact that you're still seeing your ex is still, as that person put it, knocking boots. What's your thoughts on that, Stacey?
Well, they ended. Obviously, they ended for a reason and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
don't start something with someone new if you're still into something with your ex.
Yeah. What you need to look at there is: are you being fair to? Are you being fair to your ex? Are you being fair to your new partner?
Are you
And
being fair to yourself?
exactly, you're being unfair to three people, and I can only, well, I'm assuming three people because if there's another person in there, you are definitely, um, yeah, you're definitely wrong. So, had a comment here is shouting there. The shouting is Braun Strowman. So, if I'll explain that one there. So,
He was
yes,
saying, "I'm not finished with you."
yeah. And that spawned from Kyle from an original show. So yeah, it just stuck there. It just stuck there. I think he was referencing it to more than sex after after a night out. Yeah, yeah, more.
Very nice.
Oh my god. These are
Apologies, my internet keeps cutting out because there was
Kyle, you are back. That's the main thing. So
Uh, on
the
a side
story-
note, there was an explosion in Glasgow. If anyone knows that, since Sunday night about 7:30, there's an explosion on the Wi-Fi.
oh really?
So like everyone was out, like BT was out, Sky is out, One Touch was out.
Guys,
So hopefully they
Late
get
night
it
with
sorted.
Kwaku and Stacey has broken the internet once. Amazing if we break the internet again for the second time. So let's make this happen. Kyle,
Yeah.
I'll come to you.
Yes.
So basically,
Yeah.
the story was that before lockdown, this person was seeing their ex and still seeing
Mhm.
them. When things eased up again, they kind of met again and they started, as the person said, knocking boots. When they were knocking boots, that person actually advised that they had started a new relationship with somebody. So said person is starting a new relationship but still seeing the ex. What's
I'm not finished with you!
Great use there.
is a great news.
My advice to this is always been the same before lockdown. There's a reason that's your ex. I don't keep in touch with my exes. I think I think there's a very big difference between like saying, oh, like say someone I met in first year and I used to hang out with, and I'll meet them again, like, oh, that was really cool. We used to hang out. We just grew apart. But I think once you're in a relationship, there's a different connection there. And it's kind of, it goes beyond just like when that's cat, it's like you need to separate. It's a very woman thing, or stereotypically a woman thing to say, oh, let's just be friends. And no, you need to end that. Like you've gone beyond that level, you need to end it. And if you're seeing your ex and then they're seeing someone else, that is complicated.
Yeah.
And it's brought on. Maybe it is because I think, especially in lockdown, because it is very hard to like see other people or like meet other people. Like, I mean, I know now a lot of people will go for socially distance walks, and we'll probably get into that later. But just because it's maybe a convenience thing, I would say avoid all that. I think it might be. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like going to like a supermarket and just getting a frozen pizza. You're like, bang it in the oven, 10 minutes, boom, easy, eat it. And you're like, oh, the carbs. But like, if you take your time to make like an actual meal, like some chicken breast, some broccoli, garlic, that's what I had tonight. It's like, yeah, that's nice. But
Stacey, this is a treat. We are getting wholesome Kyle today.
I
This is
know.
a treat. This is a
yeah,
treat.
I do not think anyone should speak to their ex. If there's a baby involved, that's completely different, which thankfully I've not been involved in. But I think there is that connection where if you break up with someone you're romantically or lovingly into, something happens or it grows apart, which can always happen. No, I would never go back to the well, as they say. So whoever sent that in, I think the reason they went back was for convenience. Maybe they felt alone or were just like isolated. They needed someone, human contact. It was easy, maybe like not in the terms of like the woman's easy or the man's easy. It's like it's easy to get in touch with someone, especially when everyone's isolated. But I don't think that's the best thing to do.
Can I come in? This is with something that I do feel. God, I said that no innuendo klaxon was sounded. I'll take that. Right. So
Now
basically,
they will.
now if we go back to our very first show, and it was on sex with benefits. I think that there's somebody in that pair that is more into another person, and the other person
Yeah.
wants to keep things on their terms, so wants to hold on to them, but on their terms. And I just think it's a recipe for disaster. So
I think going away from the virus, I think that's the worst of both worlds. If that's a phrase. I think one night stands is just that kind of complete unadulterated boof. Together, separate. We had fun. Off, do our own thing. There's
I
no
feel like I'm
emotional
getting the birds and
connection.
bees from Kyle just now.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like if you meet a complete stranger in a club or like wherever, usually it's a club. It's
What's a
just like
club? I've not heard of one of them in ages.
I think there used to be a Glasgow Celtic football club, but they don't exist. No, but like a
Evil
night
producer
club.
shuts his microphone off.
But yeah, like if it's a one night stand, it is completely a sexual, physical thing, and it's like, do the sexy times, very nice.
Guys are very nice.
Okay.
And then
so-
it's like off to do your own thing, and it's like that was it, right? Or if you're in a relationship for a long time and there's that emotional connection, it can be difficult, but you separate. But as you say, like friends with benefits, sexy friends, whatever you call it, as you say, I do believe there is that thing where one person is inevitably going to either get comfortable or they develop feelings for that person based not around sex. So like if you are friends with benefits, I assume you like watch movies, you hang out, they give you food, whatever. You are going to develop that not quite unrequited love, but it's going to be even 60-40, 70-30. I don't think that's healthy at all.
Okay, so Kyle, I've known you for a while, safe to say.
11 years.
Yes. I've also had a chat with you before the show, and I know you have been on this dating scene yourself during
I have
COVID.
been dating for a long time.
Have you got any experiences or stories that you would like to share yourself?
In regards to
Just how have you found dating recently compared to, let's say, like 2019 prior, before this virus came up?
okay, so we'll just explain my dating history for the internet after March 28th, 2020 was the British lockdown date, I believe. Yeah, so
Very specific. Carry on.
no, I'm pretty sure that was the date because I was
Yeah.
working. At the time, yeah, it was just like for me, it was like, oh, okay, because I still went to work and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to get sent home because my work thought I had coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
But what really it wasn't coronavirus. It wasn't the symptoms. What it was like, I got this weird pain in like the base where your spine meets your skull, and I felt really faint, which isn't a symptom of coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that was the Friday, and then I went out the Saturday, came in like the next Wednesday or the Tuesday, and I was like, I feel really weird, and I don't know what it was. It wasn't coronavirus. It was just some weird thing that had just happened. You know, when your body kind of goes, oh, something's up. Got sent home. So I came back to work from like 500 people working in the office to like 10. So I was just like, right, okay. And since then, it has been that kind of thing where people don't meet in big groups.
Yeah.
Even during the summer lockdown, and my 30th birthday was during the slight lockdown release. So it was in September, so we could go to pubs, but there's no music, so we just went there for lunch, which was nice. But in terms of dating, I did go. There was a girl I had been seeing for a while, in Edinburgh, so went through, and it just kind of fizzled out. I was like, right, okay. And it was that kind of thing where during the normal times, it would just be really easy to see people.
Yeah.
And then, when was it? April time. There was a girl who had been speaking to who I had known before, and she was like, "Oh, just come over to my house." Right? I was like,
Guys are very nice.
"Let's just go watch a movie." Now, I'm not going to say where I live because weirdos will probably visit my house, including me. And I do not want me in my house.
I know, Kyle, that was the thing I was thinking. If weirdos turn up at your house, they won't be the weirdest thing in your house.
Yeah. It'll be that base hunter signed dildo that's at your house. Got him. So I currently live in Denniston. I used to live in Finiston, just south of the river. So this girl who I had met before a couple times was like, Tristan, yeah, I'm not from Glasgow.
Yeah.
I'm from Inverness, son. Represent. So this girl told me I live on Great Western Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of my best friends, well, two of them, I guess now, live just off Great Western Road. So I thought, oh, that's going to be where I'm talking about Great Western Road. I'm talking where before Hillhead Station is, around that area.
Okay.
So I keep walking down Great Western Road, and I pass this hospital. I'm like, am I going the right way? Have I completely lost my mind? And then I start seeing hills. I have never seen a hill in Glasgow in my life. So this is an hour and a half. I walked from where I was, and I was like, I think I've got the wrong address. She's like, oh no, it's 5 minutes up the road. So I basically had to walk an hour and a half for a night in with the movie, and very nice.
Well, I was going to ask, was it? I was going to ask, like, are you Was it worth it? Kind of thing.
Kind of, but
That's what she said.
there's an even weirder story to it, right?
Yeah.
So I went to hers, right? And it's
Mhm.
kind of like, as you know, it's that kind of convenience thing. It's like, well, you know what's going to happen. And, you know, this Netflix and chill generation, right?
Mhm.
So I was like, let's just say English isn't her first language, but she can speak English better than me, which is not saying much, right? So she puts on a movie website in a language I can't understand, but I
Mhm.
know the movie posters because I know quite movies. And she goes, I want to watch this movie. And I was like, what is this movie? Now, considering I've walked an hour and a half to her house, this is maybe like 4 or 5 o'clock, so it's quite early. It's during lockdown, and it's during a time where you can't really just, do anything to him. She decided to put on the film Bombshell. Now,
Title your sex tape.
for those of you who do not know what Bombshell is, it is a movie starring Charlize Theron, who plays I can't remember her name, but she's an American news presenter.
Mhm.
And the entire film is about a Harvey Weinstein character in the media groping a younger woman. So we're just sitting in her bed, sorry, watching this movie, and I'm just there like, nope, nope, not doing it, nope. And it's not even like I could cuddle. I'm just like, I'm like, no. So that was probably quite a weird experience. So this was back in April.
April.
Yeah.
My word,
April,
my word.
yeah, April, yeah, right about then. And then for then, it was nothing until recently, I guess.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think a lot more people are using dating apps now, even just to
Yes.
speak to people. I don't know if I've used Tinder and other apps before, usually Tinder and stuff, and
Mhm.
my bio is usually like that. But I think maybe because there's more people on it and they're more just like, hey, what's going on? You just
Yeah.
kind of want to speak to someone. And I don't know if you've noticed this, Kwaku, Stacey, and viewers. I'm quite an extrovert person. I kind of need like the energy of people. So
Mhm.
living by myself, I go mental. So I'm like, right, let's just meet people, even just for a walk and stuff,
Mhm.
which is quite an odd date, to be
Mhm.
fair. Would you like to meet up with someone and
Our evil producer is doing the work right now. I
this
mean,
is a great producer.
yes. I mean, see, for me personally, like,
I love this producer, boys.
folk that know me and folk that listen to late night show before we came back on air and stuff would know that I have been single all the way through and stuff.
Yeah.
And what happened? I get myself a girlfriend, and it's been. I'll be honest, it's been amazing so far. It's been
Okay,
great.
right. Question to you,
Oh
host
right, okay,
Kwaku.
go for it.
How did you meet and how did you
So
become boyfriend girlfriend?
so we met on Hinge. I did. Do you
For
remember
those
when we?
viewers who don't know what hinges, can you describe that? Because I know that's not a
Um,
common one.
it's a bit like Tinder, but I would like to say with more class.
No,
I
but
would.
like the mechanics of how it works. So as far
All
as I
right.
know, you describe it.
Well, so you can like people's pictures and then say a wee comment on it and stuff. And it turned out, do you remember when we did a show on mobile dating apps and I read a science article on like certain things that you
That's
should
not how
do?
I think Hinge works.
No, no, hear me out, hear me out. So do you
Okay.
remember when we were talking about like little things that you should do to your photos to make you get more likes and stuff like that? So one of the things was hold an animal. It turned out that works because My girlfriend actually admitted that a photo of me holding a kitten that was not my kitten, by the way. It kind of looked like it kind of looked like the cat.
It was one quack who just found it at a vet's bin.
No. So it looks like her mom's cat. So it kind of planted that seed kind of thing. I mean, thank God for that because she's an amazing person and stuff. So
And then
yeah,
Kwaku planted a seed, very nice.
Guys are very nice.
I'm gonna move on for the sake of my relationship.
Listeners, I am the one-time guest. They're never inviting me back.
Yeah.
Because I'm
right. I'm gonna move on. Right. So I've got another story here. Now,
okay.
a doctor I had been seen for a while came over when the lockdown was eased in summer, and obviously hadn't had sex for months. So we arranged to meet, and although she wasn't good in bed, I tried to make it work.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Did you say a doctor?
Yes, a doctor.
Yes, that's a story.
So
a doctor came over, or is this person telling the story a doctor?
No, the doctor came over. So the person that tells the story was seeing a doctor.
That sounds
Guys are very nice.
So
not a legal thing, but like when doctors take a code, they can't see patients, or is it like just a doctor? I'm going to assume it's not.
You've been watching too many things on Pornhub, my friend. Right, so obviously
I have never been stuck in a couch.
obviously, she had had sex for months, so we arranged to meet. And although she wasn't good in bed, I tried to make it work. But her kisses were cold, and although she has a medical degree, she didn't really know her way around the male body as well as hers. The shade there. The absolute shade there. So that was one person's love lockdown that didn't quite work out there. So, folks, like
I'll let you finish and then I'll weigh in.
Weigh in. I mean, you know the way we work. Like weigh in. Don't wait on us. Come on, then.
I'm just a guess. I think the fact that she's a doctor
Kyle, I think we've established you're the lodger that nobody wants but everyone loves.
And don't pay rent. I think the fact that this person was a doctor has nothing to do with it. I think your knowledge of the anatomy is a very logical thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, like, say, how a nervous system works, because doctors usually specialize as far as I'm aware. I assume they mean a medical doctor and not like a PhD student who's a doctor of like literature. Okay. So because I never did biology in like standard grade.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, a doctor should know logically everything that works. So they should know, like a GP would know, okay, the knee bone's connected to the fibula, tibula, and then the foot, right? It's that kind of logic. That's their job. In the same way that, like, my job is I know how to answer calls. In the same way, your job is to know how to spin records. In the same way, Stacey's job is to know how to deal with children. Like, your job is very much like, this is what I do for either money or because I enjoy it or for a little bit of the combo, right? That has no relation to a sexual tension or like a relationship with that person.
If I'm reading it right, I think they know that. I think they're just saying it to be a bit more like, you know, that to kind of say the sex was crap and she was a doctor. And obviously doctors are
I'm gonna say whoever sent that story in has a fetish. I'm gonna say they either
what? Kyle, you have described many a people on the late night show. You've described many a people. What would be your description of this person that messaged in? Go.
I think this person
I fear for what he's gonna say, but carry on.
I think this person. Did you say how did they meet? Sorry, I can't remember the story. How did
they didn't say how they met. Just the person had been seeing somebody who's a doctor, and when they
Right.
eventually met, the very nice wasn't very
I
nice.
don't think the
He's
doctor.
very nice.
I don't think the doctor part is important at all in this story. I think
he
the
was just saying
person
it to
writing
be.
in thinks, because like in general thing, like in terms of like job structure, or like, you know, you put like a doctor like quite high up, like they know what they're doing, they're smart and intelligent, blah.
Mhm.
That is completely irrelevant to what this person's issues are.
Mhm.
This person met a person who had a job.
Mhm.
They didn't enjoy them kissing them. They were totally sexually opposite, like maybe like half opposite because they say opposite drugs. It didn't work. That was it. There's nothing bad about either person. They just didn't work.
Wow.
And none of them can fault each other. I think blaming each other is wrong. It's just like, yeah, we met up, we tried it out, it didn't work.
Well,
There's
Stacey, what is
nothing
your
wrong to
thoughts
say
on
with
this?
either of them.
Well, I don't think that my thoughts are as strong as Kyle's thoughts on this.
No, with attitude. Come on, your thoughts are as strong as mine. You've just not said them yet.
If they're both happy, then
Yeah, Joa just puts it down to they're not sexually compatible. That's what I put it down to.
That's what she said.
Put it down to.
So,
That's just the way it is.
whoever sent this message in, like, it's not clear if it's a man or a woman.
It's a man.
Okay. So say that was a woman sending the message in, and the doctor was a man. The exact same advice. I could say, "Oh, I met. Let me think. I met a fireman. Oh, I like a fireman, but it was a bit cold in bed. We didn't get on. Nothing to do with your job. Like,
That's
your
the thing.
personality does, like, sometimes people's personalities are like, oh, they should do this. Like, probably the best example is like teachers. Like, sometimes you'll see a person or like speak to a person. You're like, oh, they'd be a really good teacher, or like they'd be a really good policeman. Or they'd be like, oh, or like they're an artist. So like, you know, that it's got nothing to do with the job. I think the person writing in probably was like, oh, she's a doctor, she's smart, she's probably above me. It didn't work out. It's got nothing to do with either of you. It doesn't mean either of you are bad. It's like, it's just that thing that happens. Like, that's why dating exists.
Yeah.
It's great that we live in 2021. It's great that we don't live in Louis XIV, because we don't have to marry the first person we meet. It's almost, I hate to say it, but it's kind of try before you buy. Like, you don't have to have sex with every woman or man you meet. It's just like even going for a date, right?
I
don't know why you're laughing. This is true.
No,
right? You can go for a date.
No,
I've been with dates.
Look at your name now. Look at your name now. That's why I'm laughing.
Right.
Evil producer.
Sure.
Right. You can go on a date.
Okay.
I assume both of you have gone on dates like this. The producer may have done. Our listeners may have done. We've just been like, I really think that person is attractive. I'll ask them out for dinner. I'll ask them out for a cinema date. I'll ask them out for bowling. Any kind of like basic date, right? You go on the date and you're like, oh, I'm really excited. The dates happen. By the end of your date, you're kind of like, they were nice, but won't meet them again. You don't have hard feelings. It's just one of those things that happens. Like, yeah, we did. We went on a date. We just didn't work out. You didn't have a bad thing to say about me. I didn't have a bad thing to say about you. It's like, I hope you great success in the future meeting a man or woman you like. And same with me. That's it. It's literally just that. But some people kind of get obsessed with that. I'm like, but why don't they like me? It's like, there's 7 billion people in the world. There's going to be 10 billion in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
That does not know how it works, right?
Well, on
Sometimes
that
you
note,
click, sometimes you don't. And I think when people don't click, sometimes, occasionally,
that's evil producers and Kyle. Shut up.
I hope none of our viewers have epilepsy or Roman Reigns fish. But yeah, I think that's
Well,
the thing.
I've actually
You
had
know
a
me.
message in, I must say, and I think it
Okay.
goes back to the first story. So, just going to read this out. I also broke up with a long-term partner before lockdown. After 18 months together, we moved in with each other, and another 18 months later, the split happened. As I was traveling a lot for work and home only at weekends, at the time we kept living together in inverted commas. Possibly because that was convenient and we planned to move out when traveling was meant to finish in May. Fast forward to mid March, when Corona descended on the country, I was rushed home by the company for the weekend before lockdown. She went to see her family on the Saturday before lockdown, as it was evident her personal business was going to be shut down. Then lockdown happened on Kyle, the person actually wants to correct you. Monday the 23rd. Then that was me locked down on the To Lonesome. What a shit name for a sex tape. Cue the
Title of your sex tape.
make of that what you will.
I'm going to look this up because I can almost guarantee that the
Let it go,
official.
Kyle. Haven't got back into dating because I just don't think it's worth the risk. As Kyle said, went for plenty of walks with mates around the city to keep a social life going, but that's it. So, for what I read there, I saw that person as being like I saw that as like a classy breakup, something that they still had that
Yeah.
respect for each other. They still, I mean, yeah, some things happened, but at least the difference between that story and the story I said before was none of them were started. Well, from what I gathered on that, they weren't starting something new and still going on with the thing from the past to muddy the waters and stuff. So a nicer story there. So a good one sent in there, folks. Now, before I move on to the next topic, I thought I will end on this story. This was a cracker. Strap in, folks. I got into my first relationship mid-pandemic, so we got to know each other over FaceTime calls.
Very nice.
For the most part, we weren't even in the same country. Obviously, being in a new relationship, but physically apart, you want to have sex, but you can't. So you have FaceTime sex.
Very nice.
This is fine unless you are me and still live with your family. I thought I was home alone, but at some point, my dad came back home and walked in on me with a vibrating dildo inside me.
Very nice.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna. I can't even too much into this. I'll let you go first because I've got my opinions, as I always do.
right. So, folks, I'm going to move on to the last topic, the last section. Now,
Are we not
is-
commenting on that story?
Do you want to come in on that story?
Yeah, I would actually.
Okay,
Let's
okay. The floor's yours. You know what? I stand corrected. I'm taking the earphones out. Go for it.
So, just to like basically summarize that story, someone was on lockdown. I don't know how they met. I assume Tinder or like some other
Something
device,
like that.
or
Possibly,
maybe like
yeah.
through Facebook or whatnot. They met someone from a different country, and they
Mhm.
started what they claim is a relationship. Right? For me, a relationship is not sexual. Right?
That's what she said.
A romantic relationship can go to sexual, right? I mean, like me and both these guys have a relationship which has led back many years, right? It's called friendship, right? One thing that really annoys me is when people say, "Oh, we're just friends." What do you mean, just friends? Friends is like the highest regard. But in terms of this podcast or radio show, where YTFT.
Hey, we're on Facebook and YouTube Live. We've upgraded,
We're-
Kyle. What are you talking about, radio show? We've upgraded now. We can see ourselves. I mean, unfortunately, the viewers can see my face, but anyway, I mean, I always balance out by having Stacey beside me, so there we go.
So what I think that this guest is saying is they've met someone I have met through like a similar interest, like I don't know, like maybe like Warhammer, like movies or like something that they have a common thread in, right? And they've got to the point where they are having intimate times online. And that's fine, right? That's kind of what a lot of people have been reduced to. I don't think it's a thing to be embarrassed about. I think this year, if it's taught me two things, is first of all, your plans will decay. I mean, I ended up having blonde dreadlocks until like 2-3 months ago. But I also think this year it was. I'm sure there'll be a photo on it on our Facebook or whatever. But I think it has taught people to be more true to themselves and realize that there are people out there, like especially like because a lot of my friends now do like Discord or Twitch, like streams and everything is like streams. Like I was seeing a big thing which I'll get into later. The Spanish Black Plague. There was loads of posters of like stay at home, and people wouldn't stay at home. But I think because we have technology, and even though like me, Kwaku, Stacey are probably like, I don't know, 40, 50 mile radius away from each other, we're literally like 3 inches away in terms of the screen. So I think it's like you kind of have that connection where even just speaking to someone and having the face movements makes sense. But I think for years, people kind of fell away from phones. Like, because like, I just upgraded my phone. So loads of people would like text, but no one would phone. But people would also prefer to like FaceTime or like Zoom or Discord to phone. I would definitely Zoom that boy.
Kyle Roman's back. So, right, on that note, we are going to move on to the final section. Finally, we're going to move on.
It's not the final section.
Stacey, please do come in.
No, it's I'm getting messages, I think, trying to make me laugh in the middle of this. I'm just going to say hi to Josh and Charlotte because they're both during this. So just thought I'd say hi.
Was it not their anniversary lately, if I remember?
Pardon?
Well, in that case,
I thought this was going on for 2 hours. This is only 1 hour.
This is it was meant to be 1 hour, but what happened is Kyle talked. But anyway, folks, we're having fun here.
Right,
we're going to raise a glass.
I need a quick Roman Reigns break.
Well, whilst Kyle goes on a break, so right, we're gonna move on. So we're gonna talk about relationships in lockdown now. So this is a section where we talk about. Obviously, lockdown happened. Some people may have been furloughed. Some people may be working from home, and you may be having extended time with your loved one at home. This is where I want to know what new things have you found out in your relationship with that extended time that you've had now. So I'm going to start off with a couple of wee things from that I've had sent in. So one person has said that the thing they found out from the extended time with their loved one is that the Amazon driver is round too much. I hope it's for wholesome reasons, but well. I mean, you know how the whole thing about, like in the past, do you say, oh, here comes the milkman, always here to deliver and stuff like that? I think the milkman is... I think the milkman has now become the Amazon driver. So it's
No.
like that's like the millennial milkman now is the Amazon driver. We've just like gone up that way. So
Well, my name is right. I'm not an Amazon driver.
yeah, Stacey. I see you. I see you. Right, yo. Another thing that got messaged in is I found out there are two ways to stock a dishwasher. There's my partner's way, and then there's a right way to do it. Now, I've in my relationship, I've actually had an education on this, right? Because I've never had like a dishwasher or anything, so I kind of had an education on this. But I'll be honest with my partner, she does the dishwashing thing. She does so. And so she is always cleaning the plates first, so like getting all the food and crap off, and then stacking it. And she has a very specific way of how she stacks the dishwasher. I just look and admire it, and I'm like, you got the biz, you know what you're doing and stuff like that. Guys, like, what's the right way to stack a dishwasher? Discuss. I mean, this could be vital information that people need to know right now.
I'm my dishwasher. I just wash the dishes.
You just wash it.
Wash it either.
Yeah. We just wash the dishes. There you go, folks. Discuss in the comments below. We'll pop them up every now and then. How do you stack a dishwasher? Right. Evil producer fix the dishwasher.
I have a question for one of the hosts.
Yes.
We've talked a lot, especially me and Kwaku, about dating. I'd like to ask Stacey how she's found dating, because obviously, like, we are getting about 10, 11 months into. Actually, we're a month away from the anniversary of lockdown, so that's almost a year. So, how have you found it?
Well, it's got to the point that my sister is trying to sign me up for Married at First Sight. So, make of that what you will.
Well, speaking of Married at First Sight, Stacey, I think you had a story you wanted to discuss about something.
Sorry, what is this website you're referring to? Married at First Sight?
No, Married at First Sight is a TV show where people are paired up, and literally the first time they see each other is at the wedding altar. My partner Alex is right into it.
That is probably not as bad as Naked Attraction. Let's be honest, that's the worst show.
I don't know. Like, I know Naked Attraction. You've got your plums and your meeting to veg out and stuff like that.
No, I think that is worse because I've when I was working in ASOS.
In fact,
I mean a general clothing brand.
That's the next question. Skip the thing about the dishwasher. Comment below. We'll have them popping up. Would you rather appear on Married at First Sight or Naked Attraction? Comment below. Let us know, and we're going to run a poll as we talk. Well, as Kyle talks, as we. So yeah, Stacey, back to you. Like, so you're
subscribe if you want to see Kyle shut up.
Stacey, so your sister wants to sign you up to Married at First Sight.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say, if anyone hasn't watched Married at First Sight Australia, watch it. It's amazing. But yeah, anyway, so I saw this article earlier on because I was looking for something that I saw in the news a couple of months ago, but I couldn't find it. And it's about this woman in Wales. She's a comedian. And she'd thought, right, I'm not going to get involved in relationships. Like, I'm just going to focus on my career. And then February last year, she decided my career's going quite well. Now's the time to try and find a relationship. And then in March, everything stopped. So she just carried straight on with the internet dating. Got talking to this Brazilian guy, I believe, and chatting away.
Sorry, I just see whenever someone says met a Brazilian guy, I just think, oh, she got a Brazilian.
Guys are very nice.
My pocket is filled with filth.
So
they went filthy man.
They went for a socially distant walk last summer.
Yeah.
So they've been talking for like 2-3 weeks or something. Then they went on a date, And then the next day, decided to go for a picnic and to go for a swim and all that. And
That's nice.
while on the picnic, the guy proposed to her, and she said yes. And
Wow.
that after
Okay.
only actually having seen each other for like twice in 24 hours.
Wow.
And as far as I can tell, they're still together. So
Can I add on to this?
Mhm.
I have two stories in regards to this. So, for those who don't know me, you're lucky. But I'm from Inverness, and there used to be a music festival 6 miles from my house called Rockness, and I don't know if they have it in the park, but they would have this like blow
Kyle,
up
I've got a
cathedral.
question. Have you found your phone yet?
I've upgraded my phone OnePlus 8, maybe, and my old phone was. Oh, you're talking about that video.
Yes.
So there used to be.
I like how the penny slowly dropped.
Like if you remember that video that was deleted
Mate,
8
how
years
can
ago.
you forget that video? Oh wait, no, fair enough, you forgot, but
I don't
when
remember
you see it-
that. I didn't remember that. Right, so 2 stories. So at Rogness, like usually like get these drunk people like just married. It was a fake marriage. It was just a laugh. But when I worked in a famous clothing brand call center, I met a lot of Islamic women, like really devout Islamic women, and one who I got on quite well with. I was like, "How did you meet your fiance?" And she was like, "Oh, my mum met him." I was like, "What?" She was like, "Because she was like quite old." In quotations, what she would said for Islamic women. So she was 28, and I was 28 at the time. And she's like, no. So they came around, they talked. So like both their parents. So it's like his parents, so his mum and dad, her mum and dad were in the kitchen, and they just talked for like half an hour, and then the guy went out, spoke to her dad. I was like, I'm going to engage her. And that's how they met. And I'm like, what? And like, for me, that's mental, right? But at the same time, I remember watching a thing years ago about arranged marriages in India. And there's very good statistics on this that I've definitely seen somewhere where like there's a chart of like happiness and like longevity of marriage. So if you're in like a Christian marriage, maybe not well, whatever, right? Like the longer you know them, it gets to a point where your happiness goes down if you know them well. But if you don't know them, you kind of just stick with them, and like so in the like saying like 5 years, yeah, the arranged marriage is going to be a bit more than like but like 25 years, the arranged marriage will be like a lot happier. And then I was reading into this because my manager at my work was telling me about this. There's a German philosopher, Schopenhauer. Don't know if anyone here has watched this. But basically, he put a statement out back in like 150, 200 years ago, saying the people that you want to make babies with is not who you should make babies with. So he basically, that's kind of true in a way, where he said, whoever you want to have sex with, you shouldn't have babies with.
I think that sounds like an ideal.
I'd have his
I don't
babies.
know, maybe. I don't know.
It's a
I mean,
big famous
Kyle
thing.
with the rare philosophical ideas there and stuff. He has his own
German.
stuff.
He's German. He's Schopenhauer.
We should
something
look
like
it
that.
up. Well, I just had another
He
comment.
had a poodle.
Yeah.
on you.
Well, I just had another comment and something that this person has found out in their relationship is that his wife loves the dog more than him. Yeah.
Incorrect. That's incorrect.
So
Kwaku, that text is incorrect. I'll rephrase that. That is a man that has sent that in, I assume, or a woman. His wife or their wife shows more attention to the dog. That is attention is different from love.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Kyle, the philosopher, right there. So I got another story here that actually made me laugh, right? So I was sitting in the living room bored, then I got up to look for something to do. And
Did you write this yourself?
No. This was sent in to me, so let me start again.
Okay.
Kyle, I'm too bored for this stuff. They sent this all in to me. I was sitting in the living room bored, then I got up to look for something to do and walked into the bedroom and found my girlfriend's box of fun snaps. Do you remember fun snaps? You know those like things that you throw off the ground and they like snap?
Oh,
like
sorry.
those
I thought you
bangers?
meant Happy Snaps where George Michael drove his car into. That's what I thought.
No. So it's like those, you know, those like white ball things in the corner, and they like bang.
Sorry, producer, are you sure this is a good idea? Are you sure this is a good idea?
Kyle, let me finish. Right. So found my girlfriend's box of fun snaps and thought to myself, could I use these in a prank? I then decided to put 2 of them under the toilet seat and waited. Must have been 45 minutes till girlfriend decided to go to the toilet and she left the living room. I thought, will this even work? And as soon as I thought that, I heard snap, snap with a yelp. 45 minutes waited, well spent. What a prank. That is an amazing prank. And
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
Who's got a box of them lying about?
I don't know.
When you said box of things, I was thinking of what are fun snaps?
You know those, like, you're from Inverness, you don't know. Sorry to all the people.
Thanks for doxing me. My postcode is 123 Turbo Road. I'm Frey Bentos. I'm Frey Bentos. I'm Frey Bentos.
Right, Kyle, I'm going to take your side and we'll give you an education.
Are these like pugs? Are these like pugs?
No, so they're like little white, like snap things, and when you throw them off the ground, they like crackle. Have you seen Big Daddy? Kyle, have you seen Big Daddy? Right, we're moving on from Kyle. We're moving on from Kyle.
Has your girlfriend seen Big Daddy?
That's what she said.
Sorry, Andrew.
Make the same kind of noise like in Christmas like
Right, I'm gonna move on.
Please do.
I'm gonna end on 2 wholesome statements coming in. Me and my girlfriend started talking and seeing each other just after the first lockdown and been going out with each other ever since. I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it's definitely different. For example, we've only really been out for dinner together once or twice, but then we are together a few times a week. Completely different than anything else I have had or previously, or possibly better, because it's been easier to actually get to know each other rather than the usual dinner, drinks, and building up for months. So that was something that kind of, like, I'm in the same situation where my relationship started during COVID and stuff like that. Like we at the times like we were dating, we then had Eat Out to help out. So
judging by Stacey's reaction, you chime in on that one.
Yeah, so it was down because
no, Stacey's time.
I think that's lovely.
Thank you.
It's a lovely story.
Whoever sent that in, well, I say whoever, I know who sent that in. I wish you all the best because it's been different. It's been different. Like do you remember our first show on the First Dates? when Kyle kind of said out the back, and I don't know where this came from, and said that I like to take people on first dates to bistro kebab, and that's what that's what kind of started the whole thing.
No, we weren't sponsored by Bistro Kebab.
I
That's
know.
what it
Well, we
was.
wanted the sponsorship, but they didn't comment back to us in any
What
way.
happened to our last sponsorship?
I don't know. They just. It's been a bit of a troubling time for restaurants at the moment. So I understand that bars and restaurants are not sponsoring us at the moment. However, folks, we are back and we're back bigger than ever. So if you would like to sponsor us, not if you want to sponsor us, you must sponsor us because we're going to put all the lights and all the money in your till. Get in touch, slide into our DMs. Let's make it happen. We want the money. We want the money.
I will say,
Mhm.
with all this lockdown and stuff, I think the relationships made within the last year are going to be stronger because they're not made purely on just being drunk in a fucking club and garage at 2:30 in the morning. I think they're going to be founded on something, like even a connection, like even if it's just something as arbitrary as I've also seen the Black Panther movie. I've also walked down the street. I've also done this thing, and it's that kind of thing where that sets you off. Like if you're drunk at a club, which unfortunately I've never been because obviously I'm a little good boy, you just speak shit. Like people speak absolute garbage after 12 in a club, right?
Very true, very true. So yeah.
I actually didn't like Black Panther.
Well, the evil producer has shut down Kyle. Oh dear. Yeah.
It annoyed me that the enemy was the enemy, like the black. What's his name? Michael B. Jordan guy.
Yeah.
His character made so much more sense. Black Panther was like, "We're from Wakanda. You're going to
Mhm.
die," and I was like, the Michael B. Jordan character. Being a white boy, I didn't understand nothing. I was like, "Well, he's trying to change everything." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay." It was an alright movie. I think, yeah, okay. I understand the whole representation thing. It was like, as a movie, it could have been better.
Mhm.
Yes, I do. Yes, and I think Killmonger's character had really good ideas. They were just executed.
Well, well, folks, before the evil producer not only shuts down Kyle but shuts down the whole production, I'm going to move on to our final statement before we. I'm kind of scared to say this, but we're going to bring it back. We're going to have Kyle's rant after
Is
this.
this already okay? Can we have a couple things before my rant?
Yeah,
Can
well,
you
if you've
can you can you even describe what this is? Because you just saying here's our guest ranting doesn't really.
Well, I think people will get it when you start talking. That's for sure. Right. So I'm gonna end the section on a nice wholesome story because we
Okay.
like a good story. We like the failures and the funnies and the laughs and the the juicy gossip and all that kind of stuff. Not gonna lie. I mean, controversy brings cash, it brings ratings. We love it. However, we do like to end on a nice
That's
wholesome
why you had
story.
me on the show.
So I'm going to end on this one. Lockdown has allowed me and my partner to buy our first flat together. So I've been working from home and he had been furloughed. He stayed at my mum's with me, and because we weren't spending money on much, we were able to save up for our deposit and stuff.
Yeah.
So
There's definitely good things to come out of this. Like, absolutely. I think, especially with the show we've run, there has been a lot of love to come out. Like,
mhm,
I know I've probably said that some of it hasn't always been good, and some people are staying together. I think
mhm,
a lot of people have found love in this
yeah,
last year. I think, well, obviously you have. Sorry, Kwaku. I forget the mirrored image.
yeah.
Um, I think, yeah. I think love triumphs adversity. I think that happened in the Blitzkrieg in London in 1943.
Mhm.
And I think, humans will overcome. I think Britain, especially, like, regardless of politics, by Britain I mean the island, like Ireland, Northern Ireland, England, Wales, Scotland. I think we've got one of the best anti-vaccines, that we have. Probably one of the best in the world.
I think you want to say, but
I
Kyle,
don't.
on that note, you have got 2 minutes. You've
2
got your
minutes.
rant. 2 minutes. It's got to be quick, snappy. You got your
Yes.
2-minute rant. Off you go. Floor's yours.
My rant to end the show is I hate any one of you people who says you will not take the virus. What are you talking about? Are you taking dumb medicine? Are you taking custard to the brain, son? What do you mean you're not taking this virus? Ugh! My own sister is a carer in an NHS facility. She decides she will not take the vaccine because it might make her barren. What the fuck is she talking about? She's an idiot with custard for brains. Anyone who doesn't take this vaccine is an idiot. I know the British government may not have treated us well. They may not have made the best decisions, but we're coming in the back end of the first global pandemic for 500 years. And yes, Roman Reigns, you can lick my asshole because I do not believe that anyone who takes this vaccine will become barren. You're talking about the people who eat cereal. They don't even know what they're eating. They go to supermarkets, they eat toasted shreddies, they eat Twizzlers. You can't eat Twizzlers and you're disgusting people who eat
Well, okay, folks. I think that concludes Kyle's rant for this month.
Oh, how I've missed Kyle's rant.
Yes, folks, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great to be. Stacey, how have you felt being back on the waves?
It's felt so good to be back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was too long. Been too long.
Yeah. In your new role, it must be a lot easier for you because you're now in the role where you don't have to protect me for when I say something stupid or anything like that. I mean, you still do have that caring side to you where you kind of care if, in case I say something, but I've been good today, haven't I?
You have, but it's just the fact that now you have given me the responsibility of Kyle. That's worrying me a bit.
That's what it was. I think it was more alleviating you from other pressures because that's one big pressure that you've got. So, folks, I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to be back here next month where we're going to be talking about another topic. Please do keep in touch. Subscribe to FTYT on YouTube. Subscribe to FTTV on Facebook as well. As well as that, get involved. We do have some podcasts. We have First Time Films. I'm actually a member of. I'll be hosting my first show on First Time Films. We also have Full Time Football. Now, folks, coming up on First Time Films, we actually have a special interview with Jordan Elsas. That's coming up on FTTV.
Mr. Kwaku is on FTTV. Remember, on FTTV.
Yes. FTTV. As you can see, their evil producer has got his wicked way there. Jordan Elsas will be on FTTV. He stars as Superman and Lois, so make sure you get your subscribed. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. Wherever you're watching this, make sure you are subscribed. But in the meantime, I have been Kwaku.
And I have been Stacey.
You're listening to Late Night with Kwaku and Stacey. In the meantime, I bid you adieu. Keep safe. Good night.